hey there, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
I almost said it the other way around, but we're here today to read you folks some of your homegrown horror that you've sent us. Adam, why don't you tell us what a homegrown horror is?
Homegrown horror is a story that has been sent in by one of you lovely listeners or viewers that is paranormal, supernatural, spiritual, coincidental, sometimes kooky, sometimes true crime, sometimes extraterrestrial in nature. Robin, if someone had a story like that, where could they send it to?
You can send it directly to our email, storytime@scaryish.com, or you can go to our website. We have a contact us page. You just fill out that form there and it gets sent to us that way. And we have social media, obviously, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And we've had people reach out to us through those avenues, so that would be great too.
Indeed. However you feel most comfortable sending us your story, we would love to hear it. We have 4 homegrown horrors we're going to be reading to you tonight. I believe Robin is going to be going first, so I will hand over the mouse to you, and you can go ahead and take it over.
All right. So this first one that I'm going to read is actually from one of our OG moderators, Glitch, and the subject's funny. It's like, read on pod or whatever. You're not my supervisor. Which I actually had read the title of the email while we were getting set up, and I was just laughing. It's a good title. All right, it goes. Hello, all.
Hello.
Hello.
And literally everyone out there has to yell hello now. Even if you don't like the show, but you're somehow listening right now, you have to yell hello.
It says, it's your spooky friend Glitch. Hello. Strap on. I have some odd stories for you. I'm always strapped.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so my line of work for the past 10-ish years has been in the repossession industry. If you folks didn't know, that's like when you don't pay something, right?
Someone comes to get your shit.
Yeah, someone comes to take
that
back
someone
your
is
stuff.
Glitch.
I have seen my odd late night people and my what the fuck is happening situations. I will list a few here. If y'all want more, please let me know. I have tons. I bet people are just the weirdest freaking people, or they're stressed out. They're like, their stuff's getting taken, so they're just freaking out. That would be me. Okay, so first story. I used to drive a spotter car. That's a car with a camera that scans plates and looks for repos. That's fucking terrifying.
Super cool, though.
How is that technology allowed, where it's like, yeah, just scan license plates and we'll take whatever we want.
I mean, you're not going to take whatever you want. You take repos. But it's like they have that same stuff on, like, street lights. When you drive through, it takes a snapshot of your license plate to send you a ticket in the mail, so.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so one night, I was driving through an apartment complex and found a car. I called it in and was waiting for my driver. As I was sitting in a gas station parking lot, a random man knocked on my window. He asked, "Have you seen the signs?"
What the fuck?
I saw the sign.
My head immediately went to Ghostbusters 1.
Really? What's that?
When the keymaster's walking around, he's like asking, like, "Are you the gatekeeper?"
Oh.
And then, like, he runs away from someone. He's like, "Look to the sky for the signs."
I told him no, that I'm just waiting here on someone. He said, "No, I don't think you understand," and then started to ramble. I was watching the stream at this time and had mentioned this in the chat. I told him, "I'm sorry, I can't help you," and rolled up my window. This guy starts to roll on my car hood, screaming. At this point, I was like, okay, is he on something? I need to call someone. He then randomly stops, looks dead in my face, and tells me I know who you are, what you've done, and who you will be, and will pay for what you've done to my ancestors in our past. This man pulls out a knife, cuts himself, and starts to wipe blood on my car. That is
pretty fucked up.
Terrifying. At this point, I'm like, nope, I'm out. I drove away, called the cops. That was the last I saw of weird gas station guy.
Good, because that's fucking crazy.
The thing about gas stations for me is, like, you usually feel safe at a gas station, right?
No.
What?
I literally never feel safe at a gas station.
There's
ever.
lights. Okay, I was taught that if you're going to get pulled over by a cop, right, and it's dark, you're in the middle of nowhere, pull into a gas station to get pulled over by this cop, because at least then it couldn't be like someone that's pretending to be a cop. If it is, then they'll probably, drive off because there's people at the gas station. You know what I mean? It's safer to be at a gas station than it is to just be pulled over in the middle of nowhere.
That's in the instance of being pulled over. Anytime I stop at a gas station, it's not to be pulled over, it's to get gas. And I think I'm leaving my vehicle unattended. I also have to turn my back to the fact that someone could just crawl into my car if they wanted to. I always lock my car when I get out of it.
I always lock my car when I get out.
There's a lot of things that could go wrong at a gas station, so I don't have any sense of safety when I'm there.
Right.
I don't have any sense of safety, basically, when I'm around other human beings, so...
I can see your point of view.
Humans are awful. Just saying.
All right, story number 2. There's a gore warning on this one, so
Jesus.
that's a trigger warning. I'm terrified already. So, it goes. If you don't want to hear this gory story, I guess you can skip to Adam's next one after this. So, it goes. I was driving one night on my normal route and found a car on the side of the road that went off on my camera. I called in the car and we got it picked up. Me and my driver pull into the closest gas station to strap it down. I'm telling you, gas stations are where it's at. We both get out and talk.
Really? Tell that to creepy gas station guy who cut himself.
We both get out and talk as he's strapping the car down. As we're talking, we did notice an odd smell coming from the car. We both left and he took it back to the yard. Days later, like at least 3 days later, we came in to notice flies and maggots around the trunk area. We told the supervisor there's something odd with this vehicle around the trunk. The next night, he asks us, is there a key or anything with the car? We tell him we didn't open the unit. We just called it in and brought it back. He says, okay, let's pop the lock.
Fuck.
Warning, here is where it gets graphic.
It's a bunch of graphic novels in the back. What? Who knew?
That'd be great, though. If
Watchmen.
I found a car that had a... Oh, no, not that one, though.
Okay, what graphic novels do you like?
Manga!
Whatever.
Okay, so we open the door and this smell hits us.
No way.
we see nothing in the front seat and nothing in the back seat. So we proceed to push the trunk open, and this person, or whatever it was at this point, was sitting in the Texas sun in the trunk for at least 3 weeks.
Gross.
The body was unrecognizable. It was more of a soup in the trunk. The smell and the image is something I will never forget. It's something you can never prepare yourself for, to see a body in such disarray, which is absolutely right. I can't even imagine. Also, did you know that the city of Las Vegas is hiring a new medical examiner and they get paid astronomical amounts of money?
Of course I knew that. Everyone that lives in Las Vegas and listens to the show got the memo today, right, all?
I just found out today. At this point, we had to do a police report. The police questioned us on where we found the car, who was around the car, where the car was, and did we open it at any point before it was back at the yard. Come to find out that the man was murdered, stuffed in his trunk, and the car was stolen. When it ran out of gas, it was left on the side of the road. It just goes to show you, think twice about the cars you pass on the side of the road. I'm going to leave it here for now. I have more paranormal stories I want to send and have more of these if interested. I am totally interested. These are horrifying stories. Thank you, Adam, Robin, and Spooky Mom, for all that y'all the best. Nah. You the best. Love all of you in the community. No lie. Best group I have ever been a part of. But don't trust ASB Bunny. They sus. # Orange can't be trusted. That's totally a reference to Among Us. We play Among Us on Saturdays. Sometimes. And it's very fun. Keep on creeping on. Your Heimdall Glitch. Thank you so much for sending your stories in. We cannot believe that you have to deal with that stuff doing what you do. It's absolutely terrifying. It's terrifying.
It's terrifying, and it also sounds very, very gross.
Sounds dangerous, too. I'm sure, like, I mean, I've seen episodes of, like, repo shows. Have you ever seen, like, not Repo Man, that's a movie, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Repo Man is? I don't know.
But where people, like, freak out at you for taking their stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're taking something that was once theirs.
Yeah.
And they're not happy about it ever. So
yeah.
It's definitely a dangerous job, without a doubt. And you're going to run into some crazy stuff. So we want all the stories. Send them all our way. We would appreciate that. And we definitely want the paranormal ones as well. So thank you so much for sending that in, Glitch. You are the best.
I'll also stay safe out there.
Yeah, stay safe. I'm going to go ahead and move into my first email of the show. And this one is from Dawn. And its subject is my scariest story to share on the podcast. That is how you do a subject, because now I know I can share it on the show.
Man, you should have, like, mixed some names and done, like, from dusk to dawn. That would have been cool.
Sorry, I got the name correct.
No, I'm just, like, we should have mixed up the stories or found... Like, you know, it would have been funny.
Like if a story had a topic about something that happened at dusk, I could be like, oh, from dusk to dawn.
Sorry.
How could I miss that opportunity, Robin?
Maybe I drank too much.
starts out like this. Hi, Adam and Robin. Hello.
Hello.
Greetings from South Florida. My name is Dawn. Ooh, Florida. I'm already excited for some crazy
why?
shit.
Oh, because Florida man?
Exactly. Or Florida woman. My name is Dawn.
I don't think Dawn's going to pull a Florida woman type thing.
And I've been listening to your podcast for a few months now. I wanted to let you know I really love your podcast.
Oh, thank
you so much. I really enjoy the funny banter between you two, and especially how sweet you are to each other.
No.
That's a one-way street, Dawn. Just saying.
No, no. Excuse
Robin
me.
just collects
you just
all
called me
the
a
love.
Fucking bitch 2 seconds ago.
Well, you were being a fucking bitch.
You just...
It's live. I'm going to edit out what she did, so I just sound like an asshole. That's funny. I wanted to send in a couple of my spooky stories that have happened at my office for you to share on your podcast. Thank you so much. Our office building used to be an old bank that was built in the 70s. Shout out to anyone who was born in the 70s, because you are officially old according to this email. And was converted to an office building. I guess the building isn't considered very old, but it is super creepy when you are there alone.
One of my parents is like born in the 50s.
Both of my parents are born in the 50s.
Oh my God.
I was born in the 80s. I missed the 70s by 6 years.
My coworkers were talking about the 80s today at work, and they're like, what are you, 89? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you weren't in the 80s. We're talking about the 80s. And I'm like, I make fun of Adam for being in the 80s.
The 80s fucking rocked. I don't care what anyone says. So both of the Ghostbusters movies were in the 80s. That's all you need to know. Fuck, yes, they were. One of the original owners of the business was named Larry. He loved the building and the people working there, and everyone working there loved him. He was in charge of maintaining the building. I was told he loved playing pranks on the people he worked with. He died about 6 years ago, just before I started working there. Many of my coworkers have said they feel creeped out and have had creepy things happen to them while they were working alone in the office.
If there were a ghost, right? You felt a ghost. Would you still be creeped out even if you knew it was a good ghost?
I would be creeped out a little bit. I'd also be like, thank God there is an afterlife. I don't have to doubt this anymore. So I'd be more excited and be like, oh, Larry, what's up, dog?
I don't know about like having known there is an afterlife, because
if you find a ghost, there's an afterlife.
But if you've watched Rick and Morty, you remember that one episode?
I fucking hate you.
Remember that one episode where that alien comes and says, like, you need to kill me so that I can have...
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and then the afterlife is real. Incredibly painful.
No, because he died the wrong way. He went to his hell.
Yeah.
Which was incredibly painful. Jesus, Robin, read a book. So, I think if you... Okay, I'm going to start a retroactive thing. For anyone who's caught up on the show, if you start the show over, okay, it's going to be a drinking game from now on. And anytime you hear the phrase, it's like that one episode, or a reference to a show or a movie, you have to drink. And by the time you'll get caught up again, you'll be in AA. You have to drink twice if it's a Buffy reference. If it's a Doctor Who reference, you have to take 10 drinks. So some episodes you might not even survive. All right, I'm going to keep going now. So people thought things were creepy. When they're in the office alone, I will know it says when they're alone. When I've been in the office alone, I've heard the typing of keys and the sound of someone moving around in the cubicle next to me. It sounds so clearly like there is someone else in the cubicle that I've gotten up to check if there is indeed someone over there, and of course, there is no one there. I also constantly see things out of the corner of my eye moving past my cubicle, almost like a flash, as if someone is walking past my cubicle to the empty desk where I hear the phantom noises. One day, I was talking to another coworker, telling them about the weird things that have happened, and they told me that I am sitting in the same cubicle Larry used to sit in.
No!
When she said that, I jumped out of my seat in terror and ran out of that cubicle so fast.
Change cubes.
It's one thing to be in a cubicle where someone else used to sit. It's a different thing to be in a cubicle where someone died. You know, I don't think they would haunt the cubicle. They might like have an imprint that you'll see, but I don't think it's going to be like, I hate this cubicle because I died here style.
But you hear the sounds because it's just Larry echoing through time.
There you go. All right. Jumped out of the cubicle. I was really creeped out and didn't want to go back and sit there. Now, as a way to cope with the weird things that happen, I jokingly call out to Larry and tell him he's creeping me out and to stop scaring me. FYI, I do this in the middle of the workday. Everyone near me can hear me talking to a dead man, but I really don't care. Now, I have no real way of knowing that it is Larry making all these things happen at my desk, but I never feel like the presence is bad or malicious, only that it is trying to play little tricks on us. I like to think that it is Larry still in the office with the people he loved so much.
That's cute.
My coworker also told me that one day she came into work on a Saturday and she was the only person there. She said she walked over to a desk to use the hole punch and then pushed the chair back in and walked back to her cubicle. She said she got up to go to the copy machine and noticed that the chair she had so carefully pushed back in had been pulled out. She noped the fuck out of there and will not be going back on the weekends alone anymore.
How do you feel about people going into your cube to borrow something from you?
I mean, if
you're not there.
If they know they're allowed to take that stuff, that's fine. But if it's someone I've never met, stay the fuck out of my personal space or I'll kill you. Like, that's how I feel.
Okay.
I had someone that I knew but has never asked me to go into my shit before move all my contents of my desk out. I was the supervisor, and I would come in at noon. I was the night shift supervisor, so I'd work noon to 9. And we were having a desk move. Like, I don't fucking know why. They always wanted to move the teams around when I worked at Tesla. But I went in, and it was noon, and we were supposed to start the desk move at 1. And so I got in there, and they're like, oh, we just decided to do it at 10 o'clock because so-and-so got restless. Like, one of the bosses got restless. And I was like, okay, well, most of my team shows up at noon. Where's our stuff? They took everything out of our desks, threw them into boxes, and stacked them in a corner. And I was just like, okay, cool. And I went and I got my desk, or my box, and it was just like completely destroyed. Like, all my papers were crumpled because they literally threw everything in there. And I was like, hey, who packed my box? And like, oh, so-and-so did. And I walked over and I set the fucking box on his desk. And I was like, give me all your shit because I'm going to throw it in the floor and stomp on it. And he was just staring at me. I was like, look in that fucking box and tell me if you think that that's okay. And he just stared. I was so fucking mad. I've never been that mad on that floor before. And I was like, I have $300 sunglasses brand new that I just got for my birthday. And I never get sunglasses like that for myself. And I was like, and they're fucking smashed, which is what I should do to you right now. And the guy who was the guy in charge who had decided they were going to do the move at 10 a.m. came over. He's like, you need to calm down. I was like, no, fuck you too. Like, how dare you? Like, I was the one that designed the whole fucking, the move and coordinated everything. And then you got fucking antsy and wanted to sit in your new desk. And now my shit's destroyed. And then we had someone who was what do you call it? When you have to have everything OCD, someone who is obsessive compulsive disorder, and they moved her shit. And she was like, I can't touch any of my stuff now. I have to throw literally everything away. And she threw all of her possessions that were on her desk away, even like mementos, because other people moved it in a way that she couldn't fucking deal with. And she was just like, I can't deal with this. It was awful. I was like, this is so fucking rude. I can't believe you did that.
I didn't realize I was going to open a whole can of worms.
There you go. I remember that very vividly. I was like, how fucking dare you touch my shit? Like, don't ever go into my desk again. Like, I was like, when they leave, we're night shift. We're taking all their shit. We're throwing it in a fucking pile and we're going to set it on fire. Like, I was so goddamn mad, dude. It's one of the few things that really, really pissed me off at that job. So,
well,
aside from carbon emissions, gotta hate them. Save the planet.
Oh my God. Okay.
Do you have any other things you want to talk about on that?
No.
Okay, fun tangents. I'm going to keep going.
Oh, God.
I apologize if the stories aren't that exciting. I thought they were great, obviously.
Obviously, it got Adam real riled up.
And if the writing isn't all that great, I'm totally going to haunt that office when I die. Like, if people move stuff off a desk they're not supposed to, I'm just going to show up and their stuff's going to burst into flames. I'm not a very good writer and went over this email multiple times to make sure it made sense and that I didn't ramble. You did an excellent job. It's wonderfully written. Thank you so much for proofreading because it does wonders. If you two would like, I have a few other stories. Yes. That I could type up and share. Yes, please do. Please send me a quick email when you plan to read this. Hopefully my mom did that when she proofread it. And as I am still trying to catch up on episodes and don't want to miss it. In parentheses, I'm only up to episodes from 2019, LOL.
Hey, you got a lot to catch up on.
Until then, love you guys and can't wait to listen to more episodes.
Well, thank you for sending that in to us. It's definitely, for me, it's definitely scary working in an office where people are constantly changing out, you know, and then they move you, like you're saying, they move your cubes all the time.
Don't touch other people's shit. It's not hard.
But what I'm saying is, like, you never know who sat there or what's happened in there. I had to move across the office at one point, but my old cube, I had spilled an entire caramel macchiato down the entire side of the wall of that cube. So when I left, I was like, not my cube anymore, not my problem.
That is Robin's fucking like lifelong catchphrase, like, not my problem. She's so much.
Oh yeah, I was like, yes, pristine cube. I have
for me to ruin cube. Now.
But yeah, thank you so much for sending that in.
Indeed, it was very good. So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back.
So I'm going to get into my next email here. It's from Carrie, and the title, is my beautiful dad, now my guardian angel.
Aww.
So this is going to be a very heartfelt one. At least I assume so.
I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah.
So.
It goes, hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello, that is us, and all spooky friends and family.
Everyone
Hello,
has
that
to
is
say
you.
it now.
Yep.
All of you.
Thank you for all your hard work and effort doing this wonderful podcast. You've truly kept me and probably many others sane during a difficult last couple of years. Sounds weird, but I talk about you guys like you're close friends. That's so sweet.
I do that with all the people I follow too.
Dude, it's so funny because I'm just like, oh, you know my friend, so it's and it's one of you spooky friends, you know, that we actually interact with and talk
Yep.
to and things like that. Like, I talk to Captain Fake Eye like, you know my friend, she's a doctor.
I'll talk about you guys to my friends I've known since I was 7.
Oh
Like,
my
who
God.
I'm like, oh, it's someone who listens to the show. They're like,
Oh my God.
oh, so a fan? I'm like, no, they're my friend. Like, I talk to them a lot.
Anyway, so I talk to you guys like you're my close friends, especially at work. About you guys, not to you guys, sorry. I mean, I'm sure you talk to us too. Whenever I'm laughing with my headphones on, my colleagues often ask, what joke did they say this time? That's cute. Anyway, I wanted to write the story for a long time, just been a little too raw, which I totally understand. Finally decided today was the day, as I'm homesick, waiting for a COVID test to come back. My dad had been really sick from about mid-50s onward. He had multiple heart attacks, then a bypass operation just before he was 60.
That's so much.
He then developed COPD from years of smoking and struggled for years with that. Throughout the whole time, though, he was someone that people turned to for advice and support, and he never turned anyone away. He moved to a medium-sized country town and became really active in the community, running a secondhand furniture and knick-knack stall at the local Sunday market. Eventually making friends with nearly everyone who crossed his path. This was the sort of man he was. At the end of his time here on Earth, he was really struggling. My sister and her family went to England and Europe on a 6-week holiday. While they were gone, he rang me and said, now, if I go while they're overseas, don't let them cut their trip short. I told him that I would not be able to stop them from coming home, so he had better hold on. And he did. My sister and her family came home, and the following weekend, we all caught up at Dad's house and heard all about it. He wanted to know every detail. We could see how much he was struggling. My hubby, girls, and I also had an interstate trip planned, and Dad kept asking when it was. I didn't think too much about it, as it was only 2 weeks away. Surely, he would be fine until after we got back. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Dad passed away the following Wednesday. He was 74. I believe he timed it so that the funeral and everything would be finalized and we could still go on our trip anyway. I wanted to believe that my dad was still with us. It was the next day and I got in my car to go to the store. My car's radio had not worked for probably a couple years, so I said, Dad, if you're still with me, please make the radio work. I turned the knob and the radio came on. It stayed on for about 2 minutes. But was enough of a sign to comfort me. He had already planned his funeral and made most of the arrangements, so all that was left really was to write the eulogies, which really felt like they were being dictated by my dad. They came so easily to me. The funeral was a beautiful one, and I was happy that everything had gone well while still being very sad. Unfortunately, one of my dad's friends said she spoke to a clairvoyant and said that the clairvoyant had said that my dad was in heaven and really wouldn't be watching over us, as is my belief. This was really upsetting.
Clairvoyant doesn't know what they're talking about, so just saying.
After our trip was over, I was on my way to work and asked Dad to please make the radio work again, as he had the first time. I turned the knob, nothing. I think that's probably like your sadness of having heard like, well, he's not going to watch over you. You know what I mean?
That's such a horrible thing to say.
Who says that?
It's
Come
like,
on.
let me impose my beliefs on you while also telling you like I'm clairvoyant, so I know.
Right?
So shitty.
I kept driving and turned my portable Bluetooth speaker back on to listen to a Spotify list I was listening to. It started playing where I had last stopped it for about 15 seconds. Then the music changed from a middle point of one song to a completely different song not on the playlist that had been playing, but to one of my dad's favorite songs that we played at the funeral. This made me cry so much I had to pull over, but I knew Dad was still with me. Over the last 18 months, I've had to sell his house, his belongings, and settle his estate. He's given me signs all the way through the process. The biggest being that settlement date for the sale of the house was on my twin brother and sister's 50th birthday. That is nuts. Like, what are the odds, you know? The day of settlement, I asked out loud, I hope everything I did was okay, as I was walking to the car from the store. As I hopped into the car, I had the strong sense that I should check my radio. I turned it on, and it worked. It has continued to work ever since, which is now 3 months.
That is awesome.
I know that Dad will continue to watch over his family while still enjoying his time with departed family members in heaven. Thanks, guys. I know that was long, Carrie.
That was as long as you needed it to be, and it wasn't very long at all to read it. So.
And I think when you're trying to explain your feelings and things like that after something so hard, especially talking about something that affected you so much, there's no amount of words that could really cover how you feel or what you experience or anything like that. And I think it's really important to I don't know, put those words out sometimes, like write them out, and how you feel. Cause then you have something that you can, it's like putting your feelings on paper, you know, kind of makes those feelings real and validated a little bit.
It also like kind of relieves the tension of keeping them bottled up. Even if you're not saying them to someone, like just seeing it in front of you rather than internalizing it is definitely a palpable feeling. Like I've done that before in the past too. And I think it's worth noting too, like I think a lot of people experience death in different ways, and the death of family members and things like that. And it's very rough. And I think when you try and look at stuff through like an analytical point of it, people say like, here's the different stages of death and how you're going to deal with grieving. And, you know, it's not always the case. And I think a lot of people tend to think they're experts, or people that like to say things like this clairvoyant, where it's like, I'm clairvoyant, like, I see things other people don't see. It's like, no, you want to feel special, and you do that by taking like the attention off of someone else and putting it onto you. And I think that's really terrible for people to do. And I also think that it happens very frequently. So don't let that affect how you feel, especially with how you feel in relation to your dad watching over you. You know, if someone told me that about my grandfather who passed away when I was in 7th grade, like, oh, he's in heaven, he's not watching over you, I'd be like, get fucked. Like, I know he is. Like, I know he is. Kiss my ass, you know?
Yeah, my my dad's mom died a really long time ago, and for as long as I can remember, my mom has always told me, your grandma, my dad's mom, always protected my dad. So if my mom would pick on my dad, she would do something to my mom. And growing up, that was always something that I was told, you know, that my dad was always protected by his mom.
Which is awesome.
And I think that just everybody experiences everything differently, and they can believe whatever they want, but I don't think it's right for somebody like that clairvoyant to be like, they're not here watching you, because it's not fair to that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a know-it-all asshole.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah, they can get fucked. That's all I'm saying. So thank you so much for sharing that story. It's really hard to put those things down on paper sometimes. So I understand why it takes a while. And we've had people say before, like, oh, I haven't sent you my story yet. Like, it's something that's very personal, and you never have to feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
But
we're just a podcast. Yeah. You are a human being.
As you're writing it out, I do think it's definitely something that we've heard from multiple people. Like, once you write it out and get all that out there and place it out into someone's like hands, like, hey, you can read this on the show if you want. It's like a completely different feeling. And I won't say it's a weight lifted off your shoulders, but it definitely has like, I got to tell someone this.
Yeah.
And especially since it will help someone. It really will. And it's crazy to me that we have a show. A lot of
people have emailed us and said, like, you know, hearing people's stories about their family members and their experiences has really helped me get through a hard time where I've had a death in the family, or I've dealt with death in some way.
I know it's weird to think, because it's like we're a silly show where we banter back and forth and say horrible things to one another. But the people who support us and send in these emails, I think that's why the community is so special, is because you guys really do help each other through such rough times. And it's been a really rough time for a lot of people. We get emailed
all the time like, oh, you guys help us, but really you guys help each other.
It's like, how am I helping you by calling her a bitch? Like, I'm not helping anyone right now.
And so I just think we've built a really great community, and you guys are absolutely amazing. And we're so thankful that you have the heart to share these experiences with the rest of the spooky family, because it's just so nice to hear and see and share. Yeah,
absolutely. So thank you one more time for sending that in. We sincerely appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to move into our final email of the show, and this one's subject is, it's okay to not be okay. Please share on the pod.
That is also a Korean drama that is currently on Netflix.
I hate you so fucking much. This one I think is also going to be one of those ones that might be a little heartfelt and deep. But just so you know, it's a Korean drama, and Robin's got your back if you were wondering. Starts out like this. Aloha, Adam and Robin.
Aloha.
Aloha.
That's just how they say, like, when you're at a luau and stuff like that, they always say it like that. I don't know.
Did not know that.
You're welcome.
In parentheses, it says, I switched it up from last time. I think they went Robin and Adam last time. Super special aloha to Spooky Mom. How's it, cousins and auntie? It's
That's
Pia
cute.
again. That is very cute.
I love that.
When I heard Robin reading my story, I was thinking to myself, one, wow, you actually read my story. I was fangirling in my office, alone, mind you. And two, Spooky Mom did an awesome job editing my email, as I'm really wordy. However, I searched my original email and you read it word for word. You guys are amazing. That means you wrote it amazing.
Yeah.
So shout out to you.
Yep.
I had another scary-ish thing happen to me. I just, in all caps, and they even changed the coloring of the letters to red. I just, can you hear the red?
Yeah.
Just have to share it.
It's
because
fiery.
it may help someone or maybe just be good for a laugh. Please share on the pod. In case you don't remember me, I wrote in about the scary-ish time at work, lighthearted fun. I'm Polynesian, and in my culture, there is still stigma around mental health and mental health issues. With the pandemic and having to isolate a lot of things have resurfaced. Traumas that have been long forgotten or suppressed. It's been difficult seeing a therapist in my area because everyone is overwhelmed with an influx of clients, which in my opinion is a good thing. I absolutely agree. I think therapy is great for everyone. Yep. It's just like any sort of other maintenance that you would do, whether or not you're working out on your body or you're doing something to your car to make sure it doesn't break down. It's just mental maintenance, and I think it's a great thing. It can be costly to pay out of pocket for therapy, but in my opinion, it is well worth it. But we all do the best we can with the funds that are available to us. This is what I choose to believe. I'm not judging, just saying. The time has finally come for me to keep my appointment. I'm in the elevator with my husband and another gentleman. We were all masked up, in parentheses, hubby and I are fully vaccinated. And even though there were only supposed to be 2 people per elevator, the gentleman said, hop in, so we did. It's an extremely hot, caps, red letters, hot day in Northern California, and the elevator finally starts to ascend. Before you know it, the elevator stops, just freezes.
And the other gentleman just poof, disappears.
Did I happen to mention that I'm claustrophobic?
Oh no.
I'm actively trying not to freak out. Having my husband with me in this situation helped more than he will ever know. On a side note, you know on television shows where the character pulls apart the elevator doors and then they make their escape? Lies. It doesn't work.
No. Those things are heavy.
Yeah.
And they're like,
there's a switch. You have to like use a crowbar, I think, to get like the leverage point past a certain amount of pressure to get the doors open. Just a quick side tangent. When I was working at the bank, I worked on the 3rd floor. There were 4 floors and there were 2 elevators that were constantly out of order. And I was on the elevator one day and I was going up and I got to the 2nd floor. And the doors just opened, but the elevator didn't stop.
Oh, no,
you just see the elevator shaft going by, and everyone just like looks at each other
Was
like,
it fast?
No, I mean, it's like elevator speed. It's not like a skyscraper where it just fucking launches you into the sky, but we all looked at each other like, that just fucking happened. And we stepped out, and then the doors wouldn't close, and the elevator wouldn't move. And then eventually it just started doing the alarm thing, and they had to fucking fix it. But the doors just opened. I was just like, that was fucking terrifying. All right, I'm going to get back to it.
That's horrific.
All right, so they tried to pry the doors open. And trying to escape via a panel above the elevator is even more risky. Don't do it.
100% do not do it.
I'm starting to feel really claustrophobic when the elevator finally comes to life again. When the doors opened, I ran so fast out of there, my husband couldn't believe that I was just gone. Never mind the fact I was getting off on the wrong floor.
Olympic runner.
That makes sense, though. Just take the stairs. I ran up the stairs to the proper floor. There you go. In the event of crisis, my husband always teases me that he doesn't have to be the fastest. He just has to be faster than me. As a result of this, I'm currently looking for a location that doesn't require me to go to a building 20 plus floors up. Thank you. Remember, short, round, plumpy. Anyways, I just want to say if you are struggling, you are not alone. Reach out to others, read self-help books, start journaling. It's amazing the things you can work through on your own and not even know it. That's where I started. Whatever has happened to you, it's not, in all caps, not your fault. However, as an adult, it is your responsibility to, quote, take care of it.
Self-care is really important.
It is very important.
And I think now in our generation, it's become more prevalent that we do need to have some type of self-care, whether that is going to therapy, whether that is just taking a bath one day, just laying there, have some bath salt, not like, don't take bath salts, but like put bath salts.
Don't turn yourself into a zombie. Yeah. Put them in the bath.
You know, put them in the bath, lay there, maybe get a bath bomb, maybe get yourself like, I don't know, do you like soda? Treat yourself to a soda, you know? Just
your mental health is incredibly important. It is one of the most important things you're ever going to have to deal with. And I think people used to joke around like, oh, taking a mental health day? It's like, fuck yes, I am, because you people exhaust the shit out of me.
Companies offer mental health days
They
now.
should. I mean, you shouldn't ever have to go to someone and be like, I'm so sick I couldn't come into work today and be judged for it. Like, I work at a place where I have unlimited PTO, and I'm incredibly lucky because they literally give us half days on Fridays because they're like, we want to avoid burnout. We don't want people to get to the job and just think like, I hate being here. And I've never been in a place that did that. And I've been there for a year and a half, and it's a completely different environment than I've ever been in. And it sucks, but if you have to take your vacation days or if you have to take your PTO in order to do that for yourself, you absolutely should. It wasn't done, by the way. Robin just interrupted in the middle of a sentence because she got so excited to speak. All right, take care of it because little eyes are always watching. We owe it to them and our partners to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. In parentheses, even if the little eyes that are watching you are not yours. So like other people's kids or maybe even their dogs or pets, just pets in general. I'm in my 40s and it's never too late to work on yourself. I will write in with my actual spooky stories in the future. Being from Hawaii, I have choke/lots of them.
Choke means lots.
That's a pigeon thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Hoping you all have an awesome day, night, evening, whatever it is for you. Wishing you all well. All my aloha spooky fam. Pia.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I think we bring up a lot on this show about mental health, about if you need help, reaching out for that help. I know in the past few weeks, we've done a lot of like, this is a suicide hotline. If you need help, please reach out to someone. Or if you know someone who's like maybe not having the best day, just reach out to them. Because if someone just messages you, you know, sometimes that's the difference between you being just having the worst fucking day and then having someone just cheer you up with saying one thing, you know?
Right.
Or sending a stupid dog video.
It feels very weird being mental health advocates in the way that we are and also being crazy. But it is possible to do. Like, we don't have our shit together. We're hot messes of human beings.
Oh, yeah.
We really are.
You don't even know. My credit score is like 600.
That has nothing to do with mental health, but okay.
That's
where your head's at right now.
I am a shit show.
So I'm just saying, like, we have tons and tons of issues. And if you think that listening to the show in any way, shape, or form has ever, in any small way, made you feel better, that is the perfect example of how you can do that for someone else. Or you can just feel that much better by just taking that little bit of effort. Because if someone said like, hey, Adam, can you help someone feeling low? I'd be like, don't send them to me. I'm just going to fuck it up and make it worse. So having this show where we all hang out and talk and go over this stuff and having people say like, you guys really help me. And we hear that all the time. It's like, how? Like, I don't get it. It's like you are also really helping someone even if you don't know it. So everyone should feel very proud of that. So thank you so much for sending that in one more time. We sincerely appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everyone who sent in their stories this week. It is very, very thoughtful of you folks to send in these things because sometimes they're very heartfelt. And sometimes if you're not sending in a heartfelt story, you just sincerely don't think someone's going to believe you. And we're not here to mock you. We're not here to make fun of you. We're here to listen to what you have to say. And we sincerely appreciate you trusting us enough to do that. And if you have a story you would like to share with us, please email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. Fill out that form. It comes directly to us. You can also hit us up on our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod. And Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scaryishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers start at $1. At $1, you get ad-free episodes and access to like extra things. Like we have the Winchester Mystery House Storytime episode on there, and things like that. And tiers go up from there. There's physical merch tiers as well. And then if you're not into the whole monthly tier type thing and you're down for one-time donations instead, you can always go to coffee, ko-fi.com/scaryishpodcast. Those are one-time donations. All your donations go to upgrading our studio setup, helping us pay for the backstage fees like website, hosting, all that fun stuff. And we really couldn't be here without the support of all our spooky friends and everybody who makes this possible.
Indeed. So thank you so much for everyone who supports us in any way, shape, and form. We sincerely feel it. It keeps us going, and we appreciate you beyond belief.
Keeps us creeping on.
So, Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.